Hello, sir. It is pleasure to have you with us. Can you please introduce yourself and give a brief background about your career?
Hi. First of all, to introduce myself, I am Aishwarya Gupta, a chartered accountant and an Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta, ALP. So, here I am to talk about or to answer some of the questions that have been given to me to help you all out in your futures. And before that, I'd like to thank this Spark Society that is there, who is working diligently on bringing all this knowledge to you.
Since you have great in-depth knowledge of blockchain technology, how does it exactly increases financial efficiency? Can you please enlighten us over this technology and how does it helps in the corporate world?
So blockchain is a technology similarly like internet. When internet came, it was 40 years ago, and now blockchain is just like the second layer of internet, which will internet enable free flow of information. Blockchain will enable free flow of your assets, all your physical assets converted into digital assets and free flow of it. That is just in one line. There is a lot to learn on blockchain. So as far as the financial efficiency goes, a lot of new things that are coming up with the help of blockchain, like you have been studying double accounting system. Double accounting system is a 14th century concept, and since then it has never been changed. Now with the help of blockchain technology, we are coming up with new technologies and new accounting system, which is triple accounting system. Now what is triple accounting system? That is a talk for a different day. But triple accounting system is something which is so efficient that like today we have so many people in corporates or in Fortune 500 working on reconciliations. Now this triple accounting system is an auto reconciled entry. The third entry is an auto reconciliation entry, which enables all the accounting to be real time and reconciled. So where we imagine that we have so many people in AR, AP and reconciliations, bank reconciliations and all those things, they are no more need, they won't be needed in the future. So that is one thing. The second thing is the way we do audit in the financial domain. The financial domain is going to change with perspectives to audit. Today we are doing sample based audit. Today what we are doing is we have different types of audits that we do. First of all is like statutory audit, the internal audit, and the third one is concurrent audit, and something and a lot of types of audit. So being a chartered accountant, I understand all those things what we have been doing. I have done it in my life as well for a lot more period. And now there is a new concept that is coming up, which is smart contracts. And here what happens is, with the help of smart contracts, you can automate all these accountings in a way. And when you automate all these things, you don't have to audit all the account all these all these entries, or you have to do sample auditing. This is a real-time accounting, and real-time accounting which is immutable. What does immutable means? Immutable is something which cannot be tampered with. It is time stamped, and when these features are added to with the help of blockchain and triple accounting system in distributed ledgers technology, your records are in a way, first of all, which are real time, and second of all, which do not need any auditing like we do today. We will be auditing smart contracts, and if the smart contract is correct, that means that all the accounting that smart contract is generating, it is automatically correct. That is the second thing. Third thing is, in the finance domain we have consultants, the financial consultants or SAP consultants or Oracle consultants, something all these kinds of consultants. So these are going to also change the way we do. In the front end, these might not seem to be a big change, but at the back end, a lot of things will change. And then there are new opportunities that are coming up, like functional consultant. So if you are working in a corporate, and you are in a consultancy firm which is giving consultancy services, or you have your own consultancy services, there what you can do is, as a blockchain consultant, as a blockchain functional consultant, you can go ahead and you can talk and implement and help an organization understand whether a blockchain solution is feasible or not. If it is feasible, which platform to take into consideration, because there are thousands of platforms and there are over 57,000 kinds of cryptocurrencies. Another thing that you might think is Bitcoin and blockchain same? No, they are not. They're completely different. There is something called distributed ledger technologies. Its use case is blockchain, and Bitcoin is a use case of blockchain. So first of all is DLT, distributed ledger technology. Its use case is what you can say as blockchain, and its use case is Bitcoin. So it is just one use case. moving ahead, so that way your financial efficiency is coming into it. And there are new roles that are also coming into consideration, and those new roles would be more in fraud analytics and maintaining the systems. And when a new system is implemented, if you have done courses like CISA as well, CISA, DISA, then those courses are something which will help you more into these kinds of system audits. So that is how your financial efficiency is going to be built, and that is how blockchain is going to change the roles that you are doing and the job and the work that you are doing.
That was great. We actually learned something new. So now, since you have done your articleship from a lesser renowned firm and then later worked as a senior associate in PwC, do you find any difference in the growth opportunities both the workplaces offer?
So first of all, when I was doing my articleship in my hometown, which is Kanpur, the firm was one of the biggest ones. So I have got more exposure than I could possibly have got from any big four. Because in these firms which are there, they give you exposure to everything. So I have been at even certain points of time during the Septembers that we have, I was even handling around 17, 18 companies audits in a go. So that is the amount of or the quantum of work that I've handled and I've diligently given up. So it is not that you have to be in a big four to understand that okay, only if you are in a big four you will grow. I have seen growth in my firm as well. The way I have been working there, the knowledge that I have gathered, the way that 3 years developed me, the chartered accountant or my mentor who was there, who was constantly there to guide me in every walk of life, and who was always there to challenge my abilities, to make my abilities more efficient. So that is what gave me a very good start in my life. That is something that has made me what I am today. It was the first step. Being in a big four, definitely you will be specializing, or you might change your departments as well. That is up to you. But again, what I feel is working in such kinds of firms rather than big fours is much better. So I'll choose my firm over any big four any day, any time when I am in my articleship period. If my firm is ready to give me the exposure, the kind of exposure that I have got. I have audited listed companies. I have done all kinds of audits in my firm. So that is how I can say that yeah, the kind of firm in which I was, no matter it was a mediocre firm, it has given me more exposure than any big four could have given me in any day. So workplace offer definitely will never be as good as compared to the big fours, and they will give the big fours will give you possibly better offers. So if you've done your articleship from big fours and your big four and you have completed your chartered accountancy after that, and after completing your chartered accountancy you are getting into that big four itself, then you will have a higher package than those people who are coming out from other big four or other big fours or other mediocre firms and applying for the same position. That is a truth. But if you want to have an overall experience, then mediocre firms are better than these firms.
Now, since you have described your experience about working in PwC, now if I ask you any positive and negative point of working over there, what it would be?
So first of all, PwC gave me the best of the friends in the corporate world. That is one of the best positives that I can say. Apart from that, being working in one of the big fours, it gives you brand value definitely. When you come from a brand like PwC, EY, Deloitte, or KPMG, you carry a brand name along with you. So that is one of the biggest positive that you will get. The one thing that was negative for me in PwC was the kind of work, the kind or the hours that I had to spend working. So I would go in, so I was working in Kolkata, and I would go in the morning at 7 a.m. and I'm returning at 8 or 9 at night, and sometimes I'm even bringing work from at that time also. So time for my personal growth was completely hampered, and that is one of the biggest reason why I took an early switch within 4 months from PwC. I did not want to be in somewhere where time for my personal growth is completely hampered, and I'm not able to give time for myself, because I have always valued my personal growth and my personal characterization and my personal skills way more than being in a corporate. A lot of you might think that working in a corporate is one of the best things. I do not agree with you. If you do not have an individuality, if you do not have your own thought process, and if you are not recognized outside of your organization, then let's assume 10 years down the line you need some help, and 10 years down the line you need some network. Where will you get that? We being in PwC, the time consumption was way too much, and that is the only reason I left it. The growth opportunities were very good. If I would have stayed, I possibly might have got better remuneration than I'm earning today. But that being said, I needed something where I can personally grow myself first and then look out for money, because money is always secondary, and if you make money your primary goal, you will always in your life chase just the money and never the satisfaction. So that is why I left PwC, and that is one of the negatives that I have felt about PwC. Definitely, if you want to work, I'm not against working 12 hours. I'm against those policies which do not let your personal development to go ahead. And so that is the biggest reason that I left PwC.
Over to the next question. Why and when did you decide to join American Express as a manager and leave PwC as a senior associate?
So like I said right now, first of all, when I was working in PwC, I got this opportunity, and being working there and constantly thinking that I have no, I'm not getting that time to develop myself, to develop my abilities, and to network, and to create a name for myself. PwC is a brand that has given me a start. But if you continue to be in PwC or in any corporation at that point of time, and you're looking for personal growth, you will not get that time in Big Fours. But that being said, you have to have your priorities. So first of all, so for the person who is working, so you can have different ways to achieve success. So working in a PwC or Big Four is basically where you are thinking that let's work hard for 3-4 years, get to a particular salary, and then switch to corporates. Then you have a handsome salary at the end of 4 years, 3 years or 4 years, and you are having a work-life balance at the time when you have to take care of your family. So that is one approach, and that is very good approach. The second approach is working in a corporate and self-developing your skills, your sets, developing your network, so that you are recognized elsewhere as well, which and with the help of that recognition you can also venture out into different things. That was my perspective. So in today's world, I'll say that depending on single source of income is one of the biggest mistakes that we can do. You all are at the stage where you all should start thinking about different revenue streams. And if earlier it was a luxury to have different revenue streams, today it is a necessity. When you see when you see how many people have lost jobs in India itself, 15 million people have lost their jobs due to COVID. So just being in a job is not the right thing to do when you see current times. Be digital, get into the ventures, get into things where you think that might get you another revenue stream in future, and invest in your own self rather than investing on stocks and markets right now. uh, Put a certain amount of your money there in your self development, and that will take you somewhere, definitely.
Now it's time to feel nostalgic. Had you imagined your career as it is today, back when you were in college? And what would you advise to the young students who are just going to step into the corporate world? Any tips and tricks?
So first of all, I had not imagined the life that I had when I was working. I had expected that my work life would be something completely different than what it is today, and my recognition would be completely different. I had never imagined that I'll be getting out and I'll be working so hard and creating and establishing an identity for my own self. So that is something that I had never imagined. But with time and with people who are around me and the mentors that I have, one important thing that I want to give you here is always try to have mentors who are 5 to 10 years ahead in time. They will tell you what mistakes they have done, or they will tell you the experiences. They will share with you the experiences, and with the help of those experiences you can grow faster than any normal person who is learning from his own experiences. Learning from your own experience is very good, but time consuming. So when you learn from the experiences of people who are 20, 30 years ahead of you or 10 years ahead of you, they have seen and they have gone through the journey that you're just about to begin, and they will tell you that how good you can be and how you can reach better levels quickly. So always have those kinds of mentors with you. If you do not find such kinds of mentors, you can even approach me and I can help you with that. I am 5 6 years or 7 years ahead in the corporate ladder now, compared to when I was in college. So I completed my college in 2014, so I am a bit ahead. You can connect with me. I'm definitely there to help you out. Another thing is, do not look out for places which pay you too much. Pay you too much. What I mean here is, first of all, you should focus on your interest. How do you find that interest? That is one $1 million question. How do you find your interest? Very simple. You all are in college, you all are seeing a lot of changes happening, and just devote your week, let's say 1 hour or 2 hours of your week into learning something that is new. Now how do you learn it? First of all, YouTube, which is a free source, where if you heard a new name, a new technology, a new domain, just go and you see it on YouTube and write all those things down. Let's say you have, in a month you have 10 things that you have heard new, and then go to YouTube, see what are those things. In all those 10 things, I am definitely sure 5 of them will not make sense anymore to you. You've crossed off 5 more. Now the remaining 5, what you have to do in the remaining 5 is, in those 5, just go to sites like Udemy, edX. These places, first of all, Udemy gives you courses at 400, 500 or maximum 1000 rupees. 80% of their courses are at this range. The second thing is edX gives you an option of auditing the course. Auditing the course means you do not have to spend money, but you can still see what they're teaching, and you can audit the course. You will just not having the access of the exams and tests that they have, and you will not be certified for that. So you don't need to collect certifications for everything. I have done a lot more course than the certifications I have got. I've even done strategy from Wharton, and I don't have a certification for that, and I don't need it, because certification is not what I'm after. I'm after knowledge. So you have to be after knowledge. There, when you spend 500 or use browse it to edX, and then you will see that out of those 5, again 2 are already gone, and then you have 3 left. Then you go to Coursera, which is just an upgradation of edX. There you have monthly subscriptions, so you can take a monthly subscription, and sometimes for colleges they are offering free of cost. Go ahead, talk to your seniors, or talk to someone in the college, and maybe you might even get all those courses for free, because right now they are offering it. And once you have that, even if you do not have that, then monthly subscription for any course is like 4,000, 5,000 rupees per month. So you complete the course within a month, and you just unsubscribe. So 4,000, 5,000 is not something which is too much. When you will be doing those courses, you will be letting yourself know what is specialization, or what thing actually interests you. That's how I stumbled upon blockchain. It was not that I had always wanted from my childhood that I'll work on blockchain. It is a concept of 2009, and I started working on it in 2017. So that is how you can go ahead and see it. And for blockchain, you can refer to places like NCR, Wharton, Michigan, University of Hong Kong. They all are there on, you can say, in your particular Coursera website. They are all there. The certifications are all there. That is one thing that you can do. Apart from that, if you need someone to personally teach you all those things, I also run a course on blockchain, and we have professionals from around the world with experiences greater than my age itself, and there are people who are there to guide you on that. So I have developed a community of the financial professionals there, so you can connect with me for that as well. And that way you can learn a new technology or a new thing. But please keep innovating yourself, keep learning new things, because that is the way to move forward. If you're not learning, then that means you are losing out anything. And there is I can just quote a single example, which is those people who are the top people, who are like CFOs, CXOs of their particular companies, they are also coming down to learn the new technologies, because this technology is something which will disrupt a lot of things. So that is one thing. So as far as the personal advice goes, have a mentor. Second thing is, learn something new every day, not if every day, every week, or every month. That will take you to places. If you have anything that you feel you lack, do not keep it inside you. Talk about it to others, see how you can change it, see how you can improve on it. That is how you move ahead. If you it is not that I was born this way, or I was born with all the leadership skills, or all the communication skills and everything. It is something that I have learned, and it is something that I have learned from my own mistakes, and I have accepted my mistakes, and that is how I'm going ahead. So that is how you can also go ahead, and these are the 3 tips that you should definitely follow. So that was all which was asked of me. Let me know if you have any other questions. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to answer any of the questions that you might have. Thank you.